Welcome, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. You know, for Mohammed it's good evening. And I don't know where, I know some of you where you are, but I don't know all of you where you are. So for those of you who may not know me, my name is Andreas, and I am a teacher of the Diamond Approach, spiritual path. And so today, we'd like to begin with a little bit of meditation. So if you have your own particular meditation practice that you do, just do that. If you don't, you can just simply just close your eyes, fold your hands in your lap, and just breathe into your belly. And just concentrate, focus on your breathing in your belly. Just follow the breath continually. If your mind wanders away, which probably will happen, just simply bring your attention back to your belly and your breathing. And we will continue for about 10 minutes, and then I will ring the bell. Okay, shall we continue? So, welcome everybody. And those of you that don't have your video on, if you would turn your video on, it would be nice to see your faces. There you go, thank you. So, my name again is Andreas Mouskos, and I'm a teacher of the Diamond Approach. So, this morning, well, morning here in Colorado, I'd like to speak with you a little bit about compassion. Now, I'm adjusting my screen, eliminate the list of participants so I can see you better. Great. So I think it's a common human experience that when we experience pain, hurt, suffering, or when we see somebody else experiencing pain, suffering, hurt, I think it is a natural response of human beings to really respond with compassion. So in the Diamond approach, we actually differentiate between true compassion and ego compassion, the egoic version of compassion. So let me explain what I mean. So in the Diamond path, the Diamond approach, we have the perspective, the view that as babies, as children, when we are born, we are actually pure essence. We are our true nature. We are our true self. And that essential nature, that true nature, has many qualities. It's not just love or peace. Those that essential nature can manifest as compassion, can manifest as joy, can manifest as strength, can manifest as spaciousness, as peace, many different qualities, too many actually to remember to mention right now. Now, as we gradually go through our childhood, as human children, we become more and more conditioned by our environment, by our parents, our culture, and everything else that we encounter. In this process of conditioning, we lose touch with our essential nature. You can say in some way we disconnect experientially from that essential nature. Now, as we disconnect from our essential nature, we simultaneously create a structure. By we create, I don't mean that we intentionally create something, but rather automatically. It's an automatic process that we develop, we acquire, you can say, a structure, what we usually call our self, our ego self. So what we usually take ourselves to be, what we consider ourselves to be usually, is actually a learned historical self, a conditioning. is not who or what we really are. So you can think of it as, we are this soul that is made of essence, and the surface of this essence becomes imprinted by all these different experiences that gradually and slowly become solidified as a sense of self that serves as what we use to function in the world and what we present to the world, to other people. But underneath that surface, that facade, lies our essence, but hidden from our awareness and hidden from others, unless the other person has knowledge of their own essence and they can see through the facade and experience us as our true essential nature. Now, this is important, of course, that it happens because we live in a world that is based on an ego self, and we need to learn to function in this world. So if we were to remain our essential nature without the sense of self, the usual kind of sense of self, and try to function in a world made of people, full of people that have selves, we wouldn't be able to function. We will not be relating to people in the way that they are used to. So we will not be able to function. So it's a necessary thing. It's not a bad thing that we've developed an ego. It's a necessary and useful thing in order to function in the world. But it does have that negative side effect that it disconnects us from our essential nature. And if we are interested in really knowing who and what we really are, and to really live our lives from that place, that deeper place, then we need to really learn to work with this ego structure and discover and uncover and develop our essential nature, our essential self. So now to give you a little more of a sense of how this happens, is like, the parents that give us the early experiences, the parenting figures, the mother or father or whoever is playing the role of taking care of us as children. They interact with us and they automatically teach us their perspective, their view of the world. To give you an example, have you ever heard a parent looking at their child or their baby and saying, "Oh my God, you are such a brilliant presence. Look at that light emanating from your heart. Oh my God, look at you. You are just extending beyond your body." Have you ever heard anybody say things like that? If you do, probably you say, "What's wrong with that? Is that person allowed to have a child?" Lock her up, lock him up. Most of us will not relate to such kind of expressions, but rather, we relate to, "Oh, look at your toe. This is your nose." That's how we treat children, babies. "Oh, you're so pretty. Oh my goodness, your hair is so long." Yeah. So by interacting like that with a child, what are we teaching them automatically? We are telling them, that's who you are. You are a nose, hair, toes. a body. So you see how gradually and automatically the message is conveyed continually. It's not like we just do that once in a while. It's a consistent, continual, uninterrupted barrage of experiencing from the outside that conveys the message, this is who I am, this is what I am. And that inner nature, I mean, nobody says, oh, I can see your compassion. Yeah, nobody says, oh, I can see your love. There it is, I can see it there. You're just feeling it now. You are feeling it. I can see the pinkness of it, I can see your compassion. I can see the green color of it, because compassion is green when you actually experience the essential quality of compassion. So in this process, of course, of developing this ego self, it's a counterfeit of our true self. Yeah, it's a copy of it. Yeah, so it will try to reflect the natural qualities, because when we experience pain, when we experience hurt, when we experience suffering, it's natural that our essential nature responds to that pain, to that suffering, to that hurt with compassion. But now the compassion is going to become distorted, screened through, reflected. It's like when you have light reflected through a prism and it just gets changed. It changes its direction. It may break into the colors of the rainbow. But here, it's not a clear prism. It's not a clear crystal that reflects the light in a more accurate way. But rather, this is an ego lens that will actually modify the compassion. And so the modified compassion will come through as the ego version of compassion. So what is the difference? That's what I really want to explore with you today. What is the difference between the true compassion that is a part of our inner essence that naturally responds to pain and suffering, and the ego version of the compassion? It's like you can begin to get a sense of it if you remember, the recent experiences that you've had of responding to a friend who is in pain, who is sad. What did you say to them? Did you say, oh, don't be sad, it will be okay, it will get better? Or sometimes people get a little harsher and they say, well, you can cry about it or you can do something about it. So in some way, there is an attempt to get them to not feel sad, to not feel the suffering. Yeah. And we think usually that, well, of course, we don't want our friend to suffer, so we don't want them to be sad, so we want them to feel happy and joyful and good all the time. And suffering and pain and sadness are bad, so we try to get them away from it. And we think that is compassion. That is the egoic version of compassion. And probably some of you are wondering, yeah, that is compassion. Where is he going with this? Of course, compassion means you try to make the other person feel better, not be in pain. Also, you can look at, we are trying to understand still what is the egoic version of compassion. It's like when you are sad, when you are in pain, when you are suffering, how do you respond to that? Do you try to get rid of it? Do you try to distract yourself from it? Do you call a friend and say, I need to talk, help me feel better? Or I need to go out to lunch today. I'm having a shitty day, and let's go to lunch. Do you have some time? And then you try to distract yourself. You try to make it feel better. Or you put on some music or a movie. How many times have we done that? We don't feel good. We feel some kind of pain, some kind of suffering, and then we try to make ourselves feel better in one way or another by distracting ourselves, by denying it, by trying to fix it, by trying to change our experience, by trying to forget it. In a way, we can say that that is really an unrealistic kind of response to life. Because suffering and pain are actually part of life. It's not like life is supposed to be all joy and pleasure and happiness and love. There is pain, there is suffering. Actually, Buddha said life is suffering. He went a lot further than I am going. I'm saying suffering is part of life. He said, no, life is suffering. Whoa, hold it. What do you mean? I'm experiencing pleasure. I'm experiencing joy and love many times. Why do you say life is suffering? There is a deeper meaning to what he's saying, of course, but it's not our point here. That's not what we are trying to explore. So if we just say that, it's realistic that suffering, pain, hurts are part of life. So that's a more realistic perspective. Life includes loss sometimes, disappointments, relationships end, people die, we lose jobs, we lose our health, we lose things that are important to us. I think that's true of most people. Actually, it's true of everybody. Everybody will go through losses in life. It's inevitable. So true compassion is not about trying to make people's feelings go away. So people will have losses, so they will feel sad, they will be suffering. So what is the true compassion? True compassion will look more like being there with your friend who is in pain. Being there and experiencing this deeper, essential quality of compassion. And that presence of your compassion allows your friend to feel their feelings, but feel supported, feel held, feel loved, feel that they are not alone. So they can feel their pain, their suffering, their sadness, but feel that they are not alone in it. And so in a way, true compassion is not a superficial attempt to make sadness go away or repress the feelings, but true compassion is actually the presence that allows the person to feel the truth of their feelings, but be able to actually deal with them in a real way. So in a way that helps the person learn, it's like they become deeper. They become, it's like, if you think about it, it's like somebody who feels pain and they cannot handle it, and you distract them. They don't grow. But when you hold them with your compassion, and they learn that, oh, I can be in pain and it's okay, and I get through the pain, they grow, they develop, they deepen, because now they have the sense of themselves that I can handle pain. Actually, I remember Hamid, the founder of the Diamond Approach, one time many years ago, somebody asked him, what is a clear indication of spiritual growth? He said, there are many, but one very clear indication of spiritual growth is that you can handle more pain. I was surprised at the time, but it took me a while to really understand it. Yeah, it's like as you deepen your sense of who you are, you find that I am this deep essence, this deep presence that is beyond the physical body, that is deeper than the physical body, that perhaps even survives the physical body. And my body can be in pain. I may have lost my relationship or whatever, right? Or my body may be sick. But in my depth, I'm still whole. I'm still complete. I'm still okay. And so that deepening of your sense of self is spiritual growth. So in a way, true compassion is that presence. It's a particular kind of presence that has a quality of softness to it, a quality of warmth, a quality of kindness. If you imagine this substance, by presence I mean a substance. It's not an abstract thing. It's not just a feeling. It is a presence that is a substance that is soft, warm, kind, loving, gentle, and in a way envelops you, envelops the person, and allows them to relax. And that pain then becomes a deepening. It's like the compassion touches the pain, and the pain softens, and the suffering relaxes. And instead of the intensification of the suffering that happens by pushing against it and trying to make it go away, there is an acceptance and there is an allowing. And haven't you noticed many times when your body feels in pain, the more you tense up, sometimes the worse the pain gets? And if you actually relax, the pain actually softens. It loses its edge. It loses its intensity. Why? That is the effect of true compassion. That's why I called it the healing balm of compassion. Because really, when you experience the essential compassion, that presence that is the essence of compassion, it does feel like that. It feels like a healing balm, a very soothing, warm, loving, kind presence that allows you to relax and gives you the feeling, the sense that I will be okay. Even though there is pain, even though there is suffering, what I am at my core is okay. And then from that place, when you are with your friend, you don't say, don't be sad, but rather you say, oh, you're sad. I can understand. I'm here with you. Maybe you extend your hand and you say, let me hold your hand. Or if you're close enough, maybe you just open your arms and say, come here. And you let them put their head on your shoulder and cry. And you're there with them. And you allow them to cry. You allow them to feel their pain. And the crying comes out and they weep. And if you ask them later, it's like that is a release of the pain. And your warmth and your compassion, that presence that you are being for your friend, feels to them like a healing presence. And then later they can tell you, probably they will say, wow, it's like I needed that. I needed to cry like that. It's like that released the pain. I needed to let it out. Yeah? Haven't you experienced that when somebody said that, or you have said it? I needed to have a good cry. Yeah? And now I feel better. It's like you feel deeper, you feel softer, you feel more present with yourself. You feel more complete. You feel more here, more now, in the present. So true compassion accepts the fact that life has suffering in it and lends itself in such a way that supports us and supports the other person to also accept the truth that there is suffering in life and to find the deeper ground where it can all feel held and loved, and that we are not alone. That is the function of true compassion. Aren't you beginning to sense, even as I'm talking, that really there is a deepening, there is a settling, that you are feeling more like yourself, that you are feeling more acceptance for yourself and for your suffering, for your pain that happens at times. So this inner resource, it is an inner resource that is there all the time. It doesn't go anywhere. It may be covered up by our beliefs, our personality structures, our self-images, but it never leaves. So to learn to really get in touch with that deeper compassion, that deeper sense of soft, gentle, loving kindness can help us and can help somebody else. And can help us come in contact with the deeper essence that we are. So motivated by the suffering, the pain, the hurt, we get in touch with our compassion. But that becomes actually contact with our essential nature. Because our essential nature manifests as compassion, manifests as many different qualities, as I said. So in a way, true compassion supports the truth of what we really are, puts us in touch with what we really are. And that's much more valuable and supportive than the lies that we tell ourselves and others from an egoic compassion perspective. It will be okay. I don't know if it's going to be okay. Many times it gets worse because before it gets better. But to be there, and help that person connect, or help ourselves connect with that deeper resource of our true, essential nature. It's much more valuable, much more healing, much more supportive kind of an experience in the behavior. So anyway, I can go on talking about it much more, but I will stop so we can do an exercise and explore things personally, and then we'll do our Q&C, questions and comments. But I want to say that, I mean, compassion is a big topic. This webinar here is, is offered in the context of the new group that we started here in Colorado, the Diamond Heart 10 group, which is an ongoing group to study and engage the Diamond Approach path. And in November, this coming November, we will have a 3-day retreat where we will actually explore compassion. But we will not finish with it in November, so we will pick it up again in January at our next 3-day retreat. So we'll spend 6 days. 6 days. Which means 12 3-hour meetings exploring compassion. So it's not possible that I can tell you everything about compassion here now. But really speaking, I mean, you can join us if you want to learn more. You can join us, and whether you want to just learn about compassion, you can join us for that November weekend and then the January weekend, if that's all you want to. But, or you can just come and join us and learn about compassion, and also find out if the Diamond Heart 10 program is for you. So you're welcome to explore it in any way you want. But for now, I want to say that true compassion opens the heart. Opens the heart in a way that makes us more attuned, more in sync with our deeper nature. In a very real way, our heart is the most sensitive part of us. In fact, without our hearts, we cannot say we are human. Our heart is what makes us human. That's why I think many times when somebody is insensitive, acting in an insensitive way, to other people's suffering, or even animals, we say they are cold-hearted. So a cold heart is like a heart that has frozen, has no warmth, has no compassion, has no love. So a warm, open, sensitive heart is the opposite of the cold heart. It is a heart that is filled with compassion, as well as other qualities such as love, generosity, joy, and so on. So anyway, if you're interested, of course, you can find us on our Colorado website. I think Peter can post our website address there, and you can find more about that there and how to register and so on. But for now, let's do an exercise. So this exercise is called a monologue. Some of you have done it before, so you know what it is. Some of you may have not, so I will explain what it is. So basically, Peter will put you in rooms, breakout rooms, 3 people together, and each person will take 10 minutes to speak freely about and explore your preconceptions about compassion and your past experiences with either true compassion or egoic compassion. That's the exercise. So basically, you will take, each one of you, 10 minutes, and you will just talk. And the other two are simply observers. You don't interact. You don't approve even with your facial expressions, or disapprove, or that's a strange thing you said. Yeah. So you don't really participate in that way actively, but rather you're there as a passive presence that is just there, observing, watching, listening. You are present to the other person to explore. And one of you can time it, use your timer on your phone or whatever for 10 minutes. And once the timer goes off, you switch to the next person